Page 68, so it's 54. Saquon, no. 68, 54. Saquon is there. Leticia is there. Suli's there, Salu's there. Alright, ready to go.
Yes, Saquon is page.
Be quiet on me.
Oh, it is still on. Quickly, 7 minutes. Right?
No, it's not.
So, we are going to read a speech by Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was a slave who became free, and he became an abolitionist. Anybody know what an abolitionist is? Victoria.
A person who protests for something that they believe.
Specifically, what is that? They protest. What do they protest for? Josie. Freedom of whom? Tonight. African American slaves. Abolitionists were fighters for the freedom of African slaves. Okay? So he became free and decided to talk to large audiences of white gentlemen to speak about what his experiences were as a slave and why America should not have this institution in our country. Okay? So we're going to read his arguments. Remind me, what is our annotation code system when we're reading a non-Christian text? Abdul.
Well, our triangle means key ideas and arguments.
Key ideas and arguments. Was the second one Jaden?
Oh,
Speak up, I can't hear you when you're coming your mouth. Liam.
right, B, if you see a British.
Be when you see a British perspective, but for this text specifically, are we going to have two perspectives? Leticia.
Stars and
Star is important information. Last one, Sulu.
and question marks are for questions.
Question marks for questions that we have as we read. So, can someone sum that up? All three, Sanaya.
The all three is the star is for important information, the triangle is for key ideas and arguments, and question marks is for
Excellent. So, as we read the first couple of paragraphs, I'm going to model for you using our annotation code. And then I'm going to allow you to finish reading on your own, and you're going to continue using these three codes to make sure that you are getting the important information and key ideas on your own. So, everyone tracking your books? What to a slave is the 4th of July. On July 5th, 1852, former slave and abolitionist Frederick Douglass gave the following speech addressing the American Independence Day. This, for the purpose of this celebration, is the 4th of July. It is the birthday of your national independence and of your political freedom. This to you is what the Passover was to the emancipation people. This to you is what the Passover was to the emancipated people of God. It carries your minds back to the day and to the act of your great deliverance, and to the signs and to the wonders associated with that act and that day. I'm going to circle your, because Frederick keeps saying your, and I want to know who he is talking about. So I'm going to put 2 question marks. Who is he talking to? Can someone make an inference right now? Who is he talking to? Jaden.
us or the
He's talking to what? What is the word for the people that are listening to a speech? Abdul. The audience. What demographic makeup do you think this audience was? Victoria. White males. So he's talking to white males about what, Salu?
He's talking to white males about the celebration of the 4th of July.
About the celebration of the 4th of July. Excellent. So let's put a star next to this for the purpose of the celebration is the 4th of July. Because this is important information. This is the topic of his speech. I'm seeing Saquon jotting next to that. Annotation code. Abdul's jotting next to that. Josie's jotting next to that. I'm continuing on. On the 2nd of July, 1776, the Old Continental Congress, to the dismay of the lovers of ease and the worshippers of poverty, clothed that dreadful idea with all the authority of national sanction, resolved that these united colonies are and upright, ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be dissolved. So those first two paragraphs, Frederick Douglass is only just setting the stage for what he's talking about and the importance of this day. I want you to take the next 6 minutes to continue reading on your own using the annotation system, and you are specifically looking for at least 2 key arguments. So what should be labeled on your page by the time the 6 minutes is over? Salute.
By the time the 6 minutes are over, we should have labeled two key arguments that Frederick Douglass says.
How am I going to know that you labeled 2 key arguments? Say Quan. It's going to have a delta next to the key argument, okay? So as I'm walking around, I want to see you actually delving in and looking for those key arguments because you will find them actually very interesting, okay? 6 minutes on the clock. You may begin now. Liam's already diving in there. Sully's diving in there. Josie's diving in there. Suleiman and Liam not only indicated that they have found a key argument with the delta, but they've also underlined specific evidence that shows what the key argument is. Abdul's already on the next page. You have 3 minutes. If you have not gotten to page 69, I will turn that now. But there are some very important key arguments on that page. Liam has turned to page 69. Sanaya has turned to page 69. Salu is on page 69. 1 minute and 49 seconds. Just a reminder, Jaden and Abdul are consistently adding dots next to their annotation codes. Time's up. Eyes on me in 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so now you're going to take 3 minutes to reflect on what you just read. And you are going to answer the question on your paper, which states, identify two key arguments that Frederick Douglass made in his speech. Write the arguments below. So out of the many arguments that you guys were able to pull out as I walked around, you're going to choose 2 that really resonated with you and use that, and you're going to be prepared to discuss that with your partner once the time is up. So take 3 minutes to do that. Begin. Suleiman is using complete sentences. Minute. should have gotten to your key idea number 2 at this point. It needs to be done. The time is 30 seconds is up. Suli has written out his 2 key ideas already. Okay. So you are now going to have a 4-minute discussion with your partners, and that means that partner 1 is going to talk for 2 minutes and talk through their key arguments that they picked out and explain why did they feel that that was a key argument. Why was that argument so important, and how did it make this speech such a strong and infamous speech? What are you going to do for the next 4 minutes? Easy.
Talk to your partner about what are the 2 key arguments that made this speech
About what made this speech what? Powerful. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock for partner number 1. Partner number 1 is sitting in Victoria's seat. Raise your hand if you are sitting in Victoria's seat. Take 1. Partner number 3, you're sitting in Sinai seat. Raise your hand if you're sitting in Sinai seat. Partner number 2, sitting in Sinai seat. Alright. Partner number 1, begin. You're still talking. Partner 1 is still talking. So flush out your ideas. Partner 2, you may question them to push them further. 2, 1, 0. Abdul, share with the rest of the class what was the key argument and why was that argument made?
Well, if you go to the paragraph,
Speak up.
well, if you go to the last paragraph, in the first sentence, it says, "What to the American slave is your 4th of July?" Question. I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days in the year, gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant. And that shows the 4th of July. It might be like a big anniversary and celebration to the Americans, but to the slaves, it's like one of the worst days,
Because what does it remind them of? If that's the worst day for African slaves, what is that reminding them of? Salute.
It reminds them of how they were slaves and how they've been tortured by the white people.
Add on to that, Leticia.
and how they don't have any independence because the white men fought for their independence, but they didn't get to fight for it.
Excellent. Jatoria, can you tell us what you were thinking? What was some key ideas and how he expressed himself in his speech?
Some key ideas in how he expressed himself in his speech was the language that he used and the words that he used to describe. Because when he was describing, he was describing his feelings, and he used the words like despair and inequality to describe how it affected him. And he also, in the language that he used, is not like the language that we use now. So it was very interesting to read, and it was very interesting to read, to learn about it, to hear the new languages, the language that they used to use.
Speaking about language, because she said he uses words like despair, right? How does using that language in front of the audience that he was in front of, how does that convey his message? He's a former slave, and he's trying to convince people who are benefiting from this that celebrating 4th of July is like hypocritical because there are slaves in this country, right? So how is him using those words, how is that so effective? Sanaya.
That him using those words was so effective because, like, if you think about it and you was in the past, if you think about it and you were a white man just listening to him, you would think, before you even hear him start his speech, you would think, oh, maybe he's just gonna cramp up and say like things that they want him to say, and that it wouldn't be as emotional. But I think that if you actually hear his speech, it's like it was really inspiring for the fact that he's an African American slave. That he's an African American slave that takes the time out and the courage to say a speech in front of white people or people that benefit from having slavery. And so it was just you wouldn't think of it as, I think it was just thoughtless. It was thoughtless.
Excellent. All right, you guys. Breathe. That was great, guys. How did you guys